one body. Saving the country, one person, one family, one entrepreneur, one town at a time. I have a new dream.
GBTV in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, America. Tonight is a very special episode of the Glenn Beck program on GBTV. What you're about to see and hear are things that no one in the mainstream media is willing to show you. I ask you to share this information with your friends and family. It is time to know your enemy. We'll get right to it, right after Amy Holmes and the news from theblaze.com. Amy?
Homegrown terrorist is in handcuffs. I'm Amy Holmes with the news you need to know from theblaze.com. New details are emerging about 26-year-old Rezwan Fardoos, the Boston jihadi arrested yesterday at his parents' suburban home. He was arrested for plotting to bomb the Capitol. The young Northeastern University graduate could face over 5 decades in prison on charges including providing material support and resources to a foreign terrorist organization. Rezwan planned to blow up the Pentagon and the Capitol building using model airplanes loaded with explosives. He told undercover FBI agents, quote, "I just can't stop. There is no other choice for me. This is the righteous way to terrorize enemies of Allah." Rezwan has been ordered to be held without bail pending a hearing scheduled for Monday afternoon. Now, some hopeful news on the fate of an Iranian pastor, Youssef Nadarkhani, who is facing the death penalty in Iran for refusing to renounce his Christianity. Youssef was convicted and imprisoned for apostasy in 2010, facing the possibility of execution. Now, there may be light, however, at the end of that dark legal tunnel. Youssef's attorney says that there is a 95% chance that Nadarkhani will be released. The lawyer told the AP that he expects a decision by the end of the next week. We'll keep you posted and a close watch on Youssef's case, and of course, we share your prayers that he will be spared. I'm Amy Holmes reporting from theblaze.com.
Hello, America, and welcome to the program and to GBTV. This is a network that is trying very hard not to be different, not to be left, not to be right, not to be center, but just to tell the truth wherever we find it. It will take us into places that sometimes we don't want to go. It'll take us into places that will put people's lives in danger, and it'll take us into places that, quite honestly, many of us, some people, I just had a chat with one of my coworkers who's worked with me for years, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you think I'm wrong?" She said, "No, I know your record. I'm afraid that you're right." It's hard to look at this stuff every day, and maybe that's the reason why you won't see it anyplace else. I don't think that's the case. I think no one else in the media will show these things because they're afraid, or their network or they as individuals have an agenda. They have been pressured by politically correct groups, and so they will not tell you the truth about the greatest threat to peace and security on planet Earth today. Powerful lobbying pressure groups like CARE and others have successfully painted Muslims, all Muslims, as victim in the aftermath of September 11th, while ignoring the real problem, not just to you, but to Muslims in America, and that is radical Islam. Tonight, you're going to come face to face with evil, and it's an evil that you won't see anyplace else for some strange reason. If you're not ready to call this evil by its name, hopefully you will by the end of the program. If you have been wondering why I have been talking about the things in the Middle East, I hope by the end of the program you will wonder no more. You will see not just a Middle Eastern problem. This is a problem that is coming here to America. We are seeing problems of honor killings now in America. But a lot of times you won't hear of them talked about as honor killings. I noticed we didn't put one down in Florida. Down, I believe it's in Tampa, Florida, they're concerned about an honor killing. Many people believe it was an honor killing, but is it political correctness, or is it the truth that has mislabeled this or labeled this an accident? It seems like an honor killing. Then, yesterday, I saw this story. St. Louis, Missouri. An Iraqi immigrant was brutally attacked, stabbed, and held at. He had the Star of David sliced into his back. Here he is. He was taken off the street and held, as two men did this to him. Now, I think that is the quintessential hate crime. But maybe it's just a coincidence that the knife wounds were in the shape of the Star of David. Why was this man carved? Because he's a Muslim. It was revenge for a poem he published titled Tears at the Heart of the Holocaust, for simply expressing his shock and sadness at the murder of 6 million Jews. That is what he got carved into his back. And I remind you again, that is not Iran. That is in St. Louis, Missouri. Things are much, much worse in Iran. There is this man. Amy just talked about him. He's the pastor at a church in a small evangelical community in Iran. He converted to Christianity at the age of 19. He's currently 32. He was arrested in October 2009 and condemned to death for apostasy under Islamic Sharia law. Now, apostasy, in case you don't know, means the rejection in word and deed of Islam, but it can also mean Christianity. It's going off of the rails of any given faith. I want to give you a couple of definitions here of different things that you're going to see on the program. Apostasy, rejection, word of deed of Islam. That's how we're going to be using it tonight. Khalifa, the United Muslim Nations under the Islamic rule. Khalifa is also Caliphate. Remember that because we've always talked about it as a caliphate. But the Islamic world uses Caliphate. Instead, they use Khalifa. Hizb ut-Tahrir, that is an organization dedicated to achieving the Khalifa, the Caliphate, and rule the world under Islamic law. Takbir, that's Arabic for God is greatest. Allah Takbir. You will hear some chants in the background of some of these speeches. They will say, Takbir, Allah Takbir. And then Ummah, that is the collective Muslim community. Ummah. Now, here's what the Quran says about apostasy. The punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive with might for mischief through the land is execution or crucifixion, or the cutting off of hands and feet from opposite sides, or exile from that land. That is their disgrace in this world, and a heavy punishment is theirs in the hereafter. The best chance he has of beating the case, he was told yesterday, is if he repented of his Christianity. He would be freed. Well, he had his final court hearing today. He refused to repent, despite the judge's warnings that he could face death if he did not. Remember, this isn't something that just happened. He wasn't just, maybe our government will care, it's an innocent Arab scooped off the streets in the middle of the night in 2009. He's been in jail since 2009. His final trial was today. We'll see by the end of next week whether he dies or not. By the way, this is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Officially, they are ruled by Islamic Sharia law. A unified Islamic state, a caliphate or khalifa, is the end game for radical Islam. The media can mock and ignore the reality all they want, but that will not make it go away. It will only delay our preparing. What was it the New York Times said about the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt? Do you remember? In the emerging battle lines of post-revolutionary Egyptian politics, many liberal activists and observers abroad say that they fear that the Brotherhood's organizational strength will give it an edge in the election for parliament this fall. Notice they're only saying that it was liberal observers and activists. But there was a conservative that pointed this out long before this was in the New York Times. And what was it that the critics said during the Arab Spring?
There was an interesting split among the Glenn Beck types, really with delusional ravings about the Caliphate coming back.
Delusional ravings about the Caliphate coming back. I want you to remember the Caliphate. Khalifa, because that's what we're here about tonight. What I said back last year, and you might remember this, I put this up on my board over at Fox. I had this, and we'll go over it in a minute. I said this in January, and it was about the Caliphate. It was about that. But you'll also remember I said, when it comes to Egypt, the best organized will win. And when it comes to any revolution, the best organized will win. It's why I've been telling you, please gather with friends. Please organize. Reach out to others. The most organized is now, it seems to me, with the unrest in Europe, Middle East, and America, is the Muslim Brotherhood and those calling for revolution. It would be the radicals, the Islamists, the communists, and the socialists. The rest of us are being told to pay no attention. You must know what's waiting in the wings. What I'll show you tonight is a group of people that have a constitution ready to replace ours, ready to go. And they are active from city to city, country to country, and all across the globe. Later on this program, I'll introduce you again to Eric Stakelbeck, who has done an extensive work and reporting on this. He'll be here to tell you exactly who these people are, how widespread this is here in the United States. But I suggest, just as I did in 1999 when I read the words of Osama bin Laden and warned New Yorkers that there would be blood, body, and buildings in the streets of New York from Osama bin Laden. And I warned New York in 1999, please take this man at his word. I do the same to you tonight. Please take these men at their word. Listen to what they say, not me, what they say is coming. This is the latest Khalifa conference. Victory is near and the time is now. This happened in Chicago, June 26th. No one has reported on this that we know. It's a conference that they had, and I think this is nice. It was free admission, and babysitting was included, so bring the kids. Hizbut Tahrir has these conferences all over the world. In fact, here's another one of the conferences right here. I'm sure it wasn't violence that caused New York to look like this. I'm not sure. But they had these conferences in at least 43 countries. Now, I say at least 43 countries because we can't verify any more than 43 because they operate in most countries clandestinely. Why? Because they're banned throughout the Middle East. They're banned in Russia. They're banned in post-Soviet Central Asian states. They're banned in Germany, actually more shunned in Germany because of its virulent anti-Semitism. But strangely not banned in the West or here in America. Hizbut Tahrir's website offers this. It's their FAQ, their frequently asked questions. Here it is, their website, you see. And what is Khalifa? Is it a republican system, imperial? What is it? Is it theocratic? And you come down all the way to the bottom, and it says, what are the opinions of organizations and individuals regarding Hizbut Tahrir's ideas and action? Well, I found this one interesting as we went down the list and looked. We found this organization that says it advocates the restoration of an Islamic caliphate, and it differs from jihadi groups which share this objective in abstaining from violent activity. This according to the International Crisis Group. The International Crisis Group, they abstain from violence?